Dale Jr. just stepped right into the middle of the biggest fight in NASCAR right now. And what he said might shock you more than the fight itself. He put $100,000 on the line to prove a point about Kyle Busch. Let me back up and tell you how this whole mess started. A couple weeks ago, Denny Hamlin sat down for his podcast called Actions Detrimental. He started talking about Kyle Busch, and the words he used were pretty harsh. Hamlin opened with this line: "Things are not going well in the Kyle Busch camp." Then he dug in deeper. He said KB has been struggling for 5 whole years. He said fans who expect Busch to win races again on a regular basis are kidding yourselves, and you're going to be very disappointed. But here's the part most people missed. Hamlin also called Busch a Hall of Fame Mount Rushmore driver. He said, "Man, I hate seeing it because Kyle is a competitor who hates losing." Hamlin even admitted he can't hold the guy's helmet talent-wise. The whole thing ran about 13 minutes long, but online, only the mean parts got shared. That's where all the trouble began. Kyle Busch was not happy, not even a little bit. When Busch got to Kansas Speedway on Saturday, reporters wanted to know what he thought, and boy did he tell them. Busch said, "If Denny wants to switch cars, I'll switch cars with him any day of the week, anytime." Then he got even more fired up. "I'd love for him to show me that he can carry it better than I can." But the line that had everyone talking was this one. Busch looked at the cameras and said, "He can bash me all he wants. I can certainly make his life hell." And Busch wasn't done. He went on Sean Hannity's podcast and doubled down. He accused Hamlin of calling him washed up. He said he's got his own podcast and he's been running his mouth lately, so he might get run into a guy. Busch even shared what he called his hate list of drivers. On that list were Carson Hocevar, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski. Quick side note here. Hamlin never actually said Busch was washed up. He never said Busch couldn't drive anymore. Those words didn't come out of his mouth, but Busch heard it that way. And that's what matters to him. So then came Sunday, race day at Kansas, and Busch tried to back up his words on the track. With 27 laps to go, Busch was dead last in the 3-7 car field. He was 4 laps down, but when Hamlin came around to pass him, Busch made it hard, real hard. He held up Hamlin's fast Toyota while Tyler Reddick was chasing Hamlin for the lead. Even Busch's own spotter, Derek Nealon, got nervous. He got on the radio and said, "I hear it, but let's be smart here," basically telling his driver to chill out. Busch ended up finishing 35th, his worst finish of the season. He's now 27th in the standings. That's a free fall for a guy with 63 career wins. Hamlin, by the way, finished 4th. He even responded to Busch's threats on social media. Hamlin wrote, "Not really sure what I'm supposed to do. I host a podcast and I have to answer questions about relevant topics. Not sure where he felt I bashed. I'm walking a damn tightrope here." Later on, Fox Sports, Hamlin softened his tone. He said something really nice about Busch. "I was teammates with Kyle Busch. He taught me by far more than any teammate I ever was with." Then he added, "I'm rooting for him because the sport needs the old Kyle Busch." Okay, so that's the setup. Now, let's get to the part everyone's been waiting for. What did Dale Jr. say on his show called the Dale Jr. Download? Dale Earnhardt Jr. looked straight into the camera and made a bold claim. He said, "I'll bet you $100,000 his ass ain't watched the 13 minutes of it." That's right, Dale Jr. is betting $100,000 that Kyle Busch never even watched the full podcast. He thinks Busch only heard the mean parts from other people. Dale Jr. explained his theory. If anything, he probably got a text from somebody. Someone said, "Man, this guy's talking about you." And honestly, Dale Jr. makes a good point. When you only see a tiny clip of something, you miss all the nice things that got said around it. The whole thing gets twisted. But Dale Jr. didn't just stop there. He actually feels bad for Busch right now. He said, "It's odd to watch them struggle the way they have." Dale Jr. pointed out something really interesting. Busch has a new crew chief named Jim Pullman. Pullman used to work at JR Motorsports, which is Dale Jr.'s company. He won races and a championship there with Justin Allgaier, so he knows what he's doing. Dale Jr. explained the situation like this. "They came out of the gate with a great performance and qualifying at Daytona. It's kind of been tough ever since." Then he said something that really stings. "Kyle keeps having problems every week. I think they would probably run just as good as Austin Dillon if they weren't having the issues." But Dale Jr. also gave Busch his flowers. Kyle is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Dude is still a badass race car driver. He's just not having a good time right now. Now, let's look at the numbers, because they tell a sad story for Kyle Busch fans. Busch hasn't won a race since June 4th, 2023. That's over 102 races without a win. It's the longest winless streak of his entire Cup career. He has 0 top 10 finishes in 2026. His average finishing position this season is 21st. Compare that to Hamlin. In the last 6 races, Hamlin's average finish is 5.3. Busch's is a painful 25. That's not even close. And here's the thing that really hurts. Busch has 63 career wins, which is 9th on the all-time list. Hamlin has 61. He's only 2 behind, and Hamlin has won 12 races since Busch's last win. At this rate, Hamlin is going to pass him on the all-time list this year. Think about that. Your former teammate, who you taught everything to, is about to pass you. Meanwhile, while all this drama is happening, Tyler Reddick keeps winning. He won at Kansas after Cody Ware spun out and brought out a caution that saved Reddick from running out of fuel. That's his 5th win in just 9 races. Reddick drives for 23XI Racing. Guess who owns that team? Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. Jordan was trackside at Kansas, and he couldn't stop smiling. Here's what he said about Reddick. "This kid is on fire. I don't know if I can cool him down. He's been unbelievable.